In the shadowed corridors of ancient wisdom, hidden within layers of symbolism and esoteric teachings, lies a tiny yet profoundly powerful organ within the human brain, the pineal gland. Revered by mystics, philosophers, and alchemists through the ages, this third eye is more than a biological curiosity. It is the gateway to higher consciousness, the bridge between the material and the divine. Our journey begins with Hermes Trismegistus, the legendary figure whose words have echoed through millennia. Known as thrice great, Hermes embodies a fusion of the Greek god Hermes and the Egyptian god Thoth, the divine messenger and keeper of sacred knowledge. In his teachings, preserved through the Hermetic tradition, lies the understanding that the universe is a mental construct shaped by consciousness, vibration, and the eternal dance of energy. The Hand of Thoth, often depicted as a symbolic motif in Hermetic art, represents the creative force, the divine power that sculpts reality from the unseen. This power is said to reside not only in the cosmos, but within every human being, particularly within the pineal gland, the anatomical seat of the soul. Scientific discovery has only recently begun to validate what ancient sages and alchemists intuited long ago. The pineal gland produces melatonin, regulates circadian rhythms, and intriguingly, shares properties with the mystical third eye that perceives beyond ordinary sight. It is said to be the physical counterpart to the spiritual eye that opens to visions, heightened perception, and transcendence. But what makes the pineal gland so central in the Hermetic view of reality? It is the organ that connects the microcosm of the human being with the macrocosm of the universe. Acting as an antenna, it receives and transmits vibrational energies, decoding cosmic frequencies, and aligning the individual soul with the universal mind. In this video, we will explore the ancient and modern perspectives on the pineal gland. We will delve into the Hermetic principles that describe the operation of reality, the alchemical transformations that awaken the spirit, and the practical wisdom to activate this gateway to higher consciousness. Through storytelling, scholarly insight, and mystical philosophy, we invite you to awaken to the latent power within your own being, the power to perceive, transform, and transcend. The pineal gland, nestled deep within the brain center, has fascinated both ancient mystics and modern scientists alike. Often referred to as the seat of the soul by Descartes, it is anatomically unique, unpaired, unlike most brain structures, and with a remarkable capacity to perceive subtle changes in the environment. But beyond its physiological role lies a far deeper significance woven into the fabric of Hermetic wisdom. According to Hermetic philosophy, the universe is not merely a physical entity, but a living, conscious mind. This principle of mentalism asserts that all things, visible and invisible, emanate from a singular, infinite consciousness. Within this cosmic mind, vibrations ripple through layers of existence, shaping form and experience. The pineal gland, as a microcosm of this universal principle, is the organ through which the individual consciousness can tune into these vibrations. The ancient Egyptians, who revered Thoth as the god of wisdom, writing, and magic, symbolize this organ in their spiritual teachings. The Eye of Horus, a potent symbol of protection and insight, is often linked with the pineal gland. It embodies the ability to see beyond the veil of illusion, to access hidden truths embedded in the ether of existence. Modern science reveals that the pineal gland synthesizes melatonin, a hormone regulating our circadian rhythms, our internal clock. However, the gland's role extends beyond this biochemical function. It contains photoreceptive cells, similar to those in the eyes, suggesting it can perceive light on a non-visual level. This sensitivity allows it to mediate between the external world and inner consciousness, making it a biological transceiver between dimensions. Within the Hermetic framework, this translates to the pineal gland acting as a bridge between the material and spiritual realms. It is a fulcrum upon which the alchemical process of transformation pivots. Just as ancient alchemists sought to transmute base metals into gold, so too does the seeker aim to refine the dense human experience into spiritual gold, the awakening of higher consciousness. The activation of the pineal gland is described as the opening of the third eye, a portal that grants vision beyond the physical senses. This awakening allows access to states of expanded awareness, where the veil between self and universe dissolves. It is here that one begins to perceive the fundamental truth of Hermeticism, that reality is a manifestation of mind and vibration. Yet, The path to activating the sacred organ is not merely mystical fantasy, but a disciplined journey. Hermeticism teaches that the microcosm mirrors the macrocosm, as above, so below. To awaken the pineal gland is to align one's inner vibrations with the cosmic rhythms. Practices such as meditation, controlled breathing, and the cultivation of purity in thought and emotion serve as keys to unlock this gateway. The chemical and energetic state of the pineal gland also reflects the health and clarity of the individual's consciousness. Toxins and distractions can calcify or cloud the gland, diminishing its function. Ancient rituals and modern holistic practices emphasize detoxification and vibrational cleansing as essential steps in restoring its potency. The Hand of Thoth, often portrayed in symbolic art, extends this principle further. It represents the creative power that flows through the awakened individual, the divine spark capable of shaping reality through intention and consciousness. This is not mere metaphor. It is a lived experience of those who engage deeply with Hermetic teachings. By understanding the pineal gland's role, one glimpses the interconnectedness of body, mind, and universe. It reveals that the alchemy of consciousness is not an external quest, but an internal revolution, a transformation that begins within the sacred chambers of the mind. The awakening of the pineal gland is intimately tied to the ancient Hermetic laws, particularly the principles of vibration and correspondence. These laws teach us that everything in existence is in a state of constant movement and resonance. The pineal gland, as a subtle energetic center, acts as a receiver and transmitter of these cosmic vibrations, allowing the individual to harmonize with the universal flow. The principle of vibration states that nothing rests. Everything moves, vibrates, and resonates. From the smallest atom to the grandest galaxy, all matter and energy are expressions of vibrational frequencies. Our thoughts, emotions, and intentions are no exception. They too carry vibrational signatures that influence the realities we experience. Within this framework, the pineal gland functions as a vibrational tuner, sensitive to the subtle energies that permeate the cosmos. When properly awakened and aligned, it enables one to detect and interact with higher frequency realities, often described as the spiritual or etheric realms. This interaction is not passive. It is a dynamic dance where consciousness co-creates reality. The ancient texts, such as the Kybalion, attribute immense power to the mastery of vibration. The ability to consciously raise and modulate one's vibrational frequency is a key to transformation, healing, and manifestation. This alchemical process is mirrored within the pineal gland's capacity to elevate perception beyond the physical senses. For example, consider the practice of mantra chanting and vibrational meditation found across numerous esoteric traditions. These methods harness sound vibrations to cleanse and activate the subtle energetic pathways, including the pineal gland. By vocalizing sacred sounds, one can induce harmonic resonance within the body, clearing blockages and amplifying spiritual awareness. Correspondence, the principle famously expresses as above, so below, further contextualizes the pineal gland's significance. It suggests that patterns and laws governing the cosmos reflect within the microcosm of the human being. Thus, the structure and function of the pineal gland mirror universal principles of unity, balance, and transformation. This mirroring extends to geometry and symbolism embedded in sacred architecture and art. The pineal gland shape is often likened to a pine cone, an emblem repeated in ancient temples, sculptures, and ritual objects. These artifacts are not merely decorative but encoded with Hermetic knowledge, inviting initiates to awaken their inner vision. Hermes Trismegistus, the fabled sage of Hermeticism, emphasized the sacred unity of mind, body, and spirit. The pineal gland sits at this nexus, an anatomical symbol of this triadic balance. It invites practitioners to engage in the art of inner alchemy, refining mental and emotional energies to unlock higher states of consciousness. Moreover, scientific studies have begun to explore the gland's electromagnetic field, revealing it to be one of the most potent within the human body. This field interacts with the Earth's geomagnetic field and possibly with cosmic energies, suggesting a biophysical basis for the metaphysical experiences reported by mystics. In this light, the activation of the pineal gland is not a mere spiritual metaphor, but an embodied transformation. It signifies the harmonization of physical, energetic, and mental planes, a gateway to accessing deeper knowledge and universal wisdom. Through disciplined practice, The seeker learns to quiet the noise of the lower mind, attune to the subtle signals of the pineal, and perceive reality from a broader, more interconnected perspective. This expanded awareness dissolves illusions of separation, revealing the interconnected fabric of existence as described in Hermetic teachings. In essence, the pineal gland is the biological interface between the finite human experience and the infinite cosmos. Its awakening catalyzes a journey from limited perception to enlightened knowing, a journey that has been the core of mystical traditions throughout history. To fully comprehend the profound role of the pineal gland as a gateway to higher consciousness, one must delve deeper into the ancient practices designed to awaken and purify this sacred organ. Across diverse mystical traditions, the pineal has been regarded as a third eye, a symbol of intuition, spiritual insight, and transcendent vision. The path to activating the pineal is often described as an internal alchemical process, aligning perfectly with the Hermetic doctrine of transformation. This process involves purification, clearing physical, mental, and energetic blockages that obscure the gland's function and its connection to subtle realms. Physiologically, the pineal gland is sensitive to light and darkness, regulating circadian rhythms through production of melatonin. Yet, esoterically, its relationship with light is far more profound. It is seen as a crystal or lens that refracts divine light into the human system, facilitating the illumination of consciousness. One of the most essential practices for pineal activation is meditation, particularly those focusing on stillness and inward observation. By calming the fluctuations of the mind and turning attention inward, practitioners can bypass the noise of daily thought patterns and access the silent space where the pineal resonates. Visualizations are commonly employed in these meditative practices, imagining a radiant indigo or violet light at the center of the forehead, where the pineal resides, serves to stimulate and awaken this center. This light is often associated with the higher chakras, bridging the earthly and the divine. Moreover, breathwork plays a critical role. Conscious, deep breathing not only oxygenates the body, but also balances the subtle energy flows. Techniques such as pranayama or rhythmic breathing regulate the life force, prana or chi, which nourishes the pineal and heightens its sensitivity. Diet and lifestyle factors are also significant in this sacred journey. Contemporary research suggests that fluoride accumulation can calcify the pineal gland, potentially diminishing its function. Ancient Hermetic texts, while not naming modern substances, stress the importance of purity and balance, principles easily extended to modern health considerations. Fasting, detoxification, and consumption of natural, unprocessed foods are traditional recommendations to maintain the gland's clarity. The Hermetic ideal advocates for harmony between the physical vessel and the spiritual essence, recognizing that the body is a temple of consciousness. The Hermetic principle of polarity reveals that activation of the pineal involves navigating opposites, light and shadow, activity and rest, material and spiritual. Awakening is not a sudden event, but gradual balancing act, reconciling internal conflicts and transcending duality. Stories from mystical traditions tell of initiates who, upon activating their pineal, access realms of profound insight, visions of cosmic order, direct communication with divine forces, and revelations of the universal laws governing existence. These experiences affirm the gland's role as a conduit between worlds. For instance, the ancient Egyptian deity Thoth, often depicted holding the caduceus or the Hand of Thoth, symbolizes wisdom, writing, and magical knowledge. Thoth's association with the pineal gland signifies the transmission of sacred knowledge through this spiritual organ, linking divine wisdom with human understanding. The caduceus itself, two serpents entwined around a staff, represents the dual energy channels, Ida and Pingala, described in yogic traditions, that spiral up the spine and intersect at the third eye. This symbolic imagery encodes the activation of Kundalini energy, which rises to awaken the pineal and catalyze spiritual transformation. These ancient symbols serve not only as historical artifacts, but as living maps, guiding seekers in their internal exploration. They invite us to decipher their meanings, to engage in the art of symbolic interpretation, and to experience their truths firsthand. In contemporary times, technologies such as biofeedback, light therapy, and sound healing attempt to stimulate the pineal gland and enhance consciousness. While still emerging, these methods resonate with the ancient understanding that frequency, vibration, and light are fundamental to spiritual awakening. Ultimately, The awakening of the pineal is an integrative process, one that harmonizes the body's physiology, the mind's clarity, and the soul's depth. It calls for patience, discipline, and reverence for the sacredness of this inner gateway. As the seeker progresses, the boundaries between self and universe begin to dissolve. Perception expands beyond the confines of ordinary reality, and a profound sense of unity, purpose, and cosmic belonging emerges. The Hermetic wisdom reminds us that this awakening is not an escape from the world, but a deep engagement with its mysteries, a conscious participation in the grand alchemy of life. The process of awakening the pineal gland and stepping through this gateway to higher consciousness is inherently transformative, not only in perception, but also in lived experience. This transformation aligns closely with the Hermetic principle of mentalism, which asserts that the all is mind and that reality itself is a manifestation of consciousness. When the pineal is activated, it becomes a central axis through which the mind interfaces with the subtle dimensions of existence. It is here that the mind transcends ordinary dualistic thinking, accessing the realm where thoughts are no longer mere mental images, but creative forces shaping the very fabric of reality. This idea, while mystical in tone, finds resonance in modern quantum physics and neuroscience. Experiments reveal that consciousness influences material phenomena, echoing the Hermetic insight that mind precedes matter. Consider the allegory of the philosopher's stone, a central motif in alchemy and Hermetic tradition. Far beyond a physical substance, the stone symbolizes a perfected state of consciousness, where dualities are reconciled and one perceives a unity underlying all diversity. The pineal gland, in this metaphor, functions as a crucible in which the lead of ordinary consciousness is transmuted into the gold of awakened awareness. The path toward this transformation is often described as a great work, opus magnum, a lifelong endeavor demanding dedication, self-reflection, and discipline. It involves confronting and integrating shadow aspect of the self, purifying the body and mind, and cultivating virtues aligned with cosmic laws. Within this context, Hermetic alchemy is not merely a chemical or spiritual curiosity, but a profound psychological and spiritual process. It invites practitioners to become both the alchemists in the laboratory, working inwardly to transform the base elements of fear, ignorance, and separation into the radiant light of wisdom, love, and unity. Examples from mystical texts describe how initiates experience visions and insights that shatter their limited self-conceptions, revealing the interconnectedness of all things. The symbolism of the Hand of Thoth is particularly poignant here. The hand signifies the active principle of divine intelligence, the means by which sacred knowledge is imparted, and the transformative power enacted. In many traditions, the hand is also a symbol of healing and creation, reminding seekers that awakening is both an inner healing and a creative act, shaping not only the self but also the surrounding reality. Scientific inquiry has begun to explore the pineal gland's production of dimethyltryptamine DMT, sometimes called the spirit molecule, which is hypothesized to play a role in mystical experiences, near-death states, and deep meditation. While research is ongoing, these findings intriguing mirror Hermetic teachings about the pineal as a gateway to higher realms, where time, space, and identity dissolve into pure consciousness. The integration of ancient wisdom with contemporary science offers a promising avenue for deepening our understanding of consciousness and its transformative potential. In practical terms, cultivating the pineal and expanding consciousness requires more than passive knowledge. It demands active engagement with Hermetic principles in daily life. This includes living in alignment with the Law of Correspondence, recognizing that the outer world reflects the inner state, and the law of vibration, understanding that everything is energy in motion, shaped by frequency. By consciously refining one's thoughts, emotions, and intentions, the seeker tunes their vibrational field, harmonizing it with higher frequencies accessible through the pineal. The journey also involves the cultivation of virtues, such as patience, humility, and discernment, which support the delicate process of awakening without overwhelm or imbalance. The ancient Hermetic texts repeatedly emphasize the importance of balance, particularly the Law of Polarity, which teaches that opposites are but extremes of the same continuum. Through this lens, the dark and the light, the material and the spiritual, fear and love are integrated aspects of a unified reality, and awakening involves navigating and transcending these polarities. In this ongoing alchemical dance, the pineal serves as a sacred mediator, enabling the individual to embody a higher, more holistic consciousness. Ultimately, the activation of the pineal and the mastery of Hermetic principles lead to a profound realization that we are not isolated beings adrift in a chaotic universe, but conscious co-creators in a vast, intelligent cosmos. This awakening calls for the new mode of being, one characterized by awareness, compassion, and purposeful action aligned with universal laws. It invites us to participate consciously in the unfolding of reality, to weave the threads of thought, energy, and intention into a tapestry of harmonious existence. ChatGPT said, "Certainly. Here is part 6, continuing the script in the same style and flow. As the pineal gland awakens and consciousness expands, the seeker begins to perceive the subtle architecture of the cosmos. This reveals itself as a complex interplay of energies, rhythms, and patterns, each governed by the universal Hermetic laws. One of the most profound laws encountered in this expanded awareness is the law of rhythm, which teaches that everything in existence moves in cycles: birth and death, expansion and contraction, activity and rest. This rhythmic flow is not arbitrary. It is the pulse of the universe itself, the heartbeat of creation, reflecting the inherent balance within all phenomena. By attuning to this cosmic rhythm through the pineal gateway, one gains insight into the ebb and flow of life, learning when to act and when to yield, when to speak and when to listen. The law of cause and effect further unfolds its significance, illustrating that every thought, action, and intention generates consequences that ripple through time and space. In Hermetic philosophy, this is not mere superstition, but a precise mechanism by which reality maintains coherence and justice. The awakened mind understands that personal transformation is inseparable from the understanding of these causal chains. Changing one's inner frequency alters the web of effects manifesting in one's life. This understanding cultivates responsibility, a conscious acknowledgement that we are architects of our experience, no longer passive victims, but empowered creators. Central to this transformation is a recognition of the law of gender, which transcends physical notions of sex and instead addresses a dynamic interplay of masculine and feminine principles in all creation. The masculine principle embodies action, logic, and structure, while the feminine encompasses intuition, receptivity, and nurturing. Harmony between these principles within the individual and the cosmos is essential for balanced creation and spiritual evolution. Hermetic texts often describe the union of these principles as a sacred marriage, a symbolic alchemy that births higher states of consciousness and profound creativity. Through meditation, ritual, and disciplined practice, seekers can harmonize these energies, fostering inner wholeness and opening new portals within the pineal gland. Stories from the ancient mystery schools recount initiates who, upon achieving this balance, experience profound visionary states and access to esoteric knowledge. Such experiences were not indulgences, but sacred gifts meant to guide the individual toward greater service and alignment with the universal order. The Hand of Thoth symbolizes this sacred work, a divine tool of wisdom and transformation, extending the cosmic into tangible reality through enlightened agency. In the modern context, these ancient teachings invite us to reconsider our relationship with ourselves and the world, urging a shift from fragmentation toward unity, from reaction toward conscious creation. Scientific research into neuroplasticity and epigenetics echoes these insights, showing that the mind activity can literally reshape the brain and influence genetic expression. This affirms the Hermetic assertion that thought and intention have the power to transform the material substrate of our existence. Practically speaking, activating the pineal and living in accordance with Hermetic principles involves integrating mindfulness, ethical living, and intentional thought into everyday life. Practices such as visualization, mantra recitation, and breathwork serve as tools to refine vibration, awaken the pineal, and deepen connection to universal consciousness. By engaging with these techniques, seekers cultivate an inner environment conducive to spiritual growth and expanded perception. Yet, the path is neither linear nor devoid of challenges. The alchemical journey demands perseverance amid setbacks, humility amid insights, and constant self-inquiry. It calls for embracing paradox, holding space for uncertainty, and trusting the unfolding process beyond immediate comprehension. As the veil thins and the pineal gateway opens wider, the initiate begins to perceive reality not as a fixed construct, but as a living, responsive field. This realization dissolves fear of the unknown, replacing it with awe and reverence for mystery that surrounds and permeates all. In this awakened state, the individual no longer seeks control, but flows with the universal currents, co-creating with grace and wisdom. The teachings of Hermes Trismegistus and the symbolism of the Hand of Thoth continue to illuminate this path, serving as timeless guides for those willing to journey beyond the surface. To embody this wisdom is to recognize oneself as both student and teacher, both seeker and source. It is to awaken the profound truth that the universe and consciousness are one, and that through the gateway of the pineal, we hold the key to participate consciously in the dance of existence. The awakening of the pineal gland marks not just an expansion of perception, but a deepening of responsibility. As the seeker steps through this gateway, they become increasingly aware of the interconnectedness of all things, the intricate web where mind, matter, and spirit weave together in an eternal dance. This heightened awareness reveals a profound truth embedded within the Hermetic principle correspondence. As above, so below. As below, so above. This axiom expresses a fractal nature reality, where the microcosm mirrors the macrocosm, and every inner shift resonates outward, influencing the universe in subtle yet profound ways. Through the lens of the awakened pineal, the initiate perceives that personal transformation ripples into collective evolution. The changes made in the inner landscape are not isolated, but contribute to the harmonization of the entire cosmic symphony. This realization elevates the seeker from a solitary path to a sacred role within a great unfolding of consciousness. Within this paradigm, thought and intention become instruments of creation of immense power. The Hermetic teachings emphasize that consciousness is not a passive observer, but an active shape of reality. Every vibration sent forth by the mind carries creative potency, manifesting circumstances, relationships, and opportunities that align with the prevailing frequency. Ancient alchemists understood this principle deeply. Their work with physical substances was a metaphor for the spiritual process of transmutation, refining base elements into gold, ignorance into wisdom, limitation into liberation. In modern terms, this alchemy is mirroring the transformation of thought patterns, emotional responses, and energetic fields. By consciously directing intention through focused meditation, ritual, or contemplative practice, the seeker aligns with higher frequencies that catalyze healing, insight, and spiritual awakening. The pineal gland acts as a conduit through which these vibrational changes are integrated, serving as a bridge between the finite human experience and the infinite universal mind. It is often described as a third eye, a gateway to intuitive knowing and expanded states beyond ordinary sensory perception. This sacred organ's activation correlates with shifts in brainwave patterns and neurochemical activity that facilitate transcendental experiences, moments where time dissolves and the boundaries of self fade into unity consciousness. Such experiences are not mere escapism, but opportunities for profound recalibration of one's energetic signature and alignment with divine wisdom. Stories from esoteric traditions speak of initiates who harness the power of the pineal to access Akashic records, universal repositories of knowledge, and commune with higher intelligences. These tales, while shrouded in mystery, underscore the transformational potential lying dormant within each human being. Engaging with the pineal requires patience and respect. Overactivation or misuse can lead to disorientation or energetic imbalance. Thus, ancient teachings often prescribe gradual, disciplined practices, combining breath control, sound vibration, sacred geometry, and ethical living, to safely awaken and nurture this inner gateway. The symbolism of the Hand of Thoth reinforces this holistic approach. Wisdom is not merely intellectual but embodied, enacted through aligned action and compassionate service. The initiate learns that true mastery involves harmonizing mind, heart, and will, the trinity that channels universal energy into creative manifestation. As this integration deepens, the seeker experiences profound shifts in perception, recognizing the illusion of separation and embracing the unity that underpins all existence. This paradigm shift rewires the nervous system and recalibrates emotional responses, fostering resilience, empathy, and clarity. In the modern age, the rediscovery of Hermetic wisdom and pineal activation serves as a counterbalance to the fragmentation and materialism prevalent in contemporary culture. It invites a return to sacred knowledge, a reawakening of the ancient understanding that we are co-creators in a living, conscious universe. By embracing this path, individuals contribute to the collective healing and elevation of planetary consciousness, aligning with the cycles of cosmic evolution. Ultimately, the journey to the pineal gateway guided by the Hand of Thoth is an invitation to reclaim one's sovereignty as a spiritual being. It is a call to awaken from the slumber of conditioned perception and step fully into the light of awareness, creativity, and divine purpose. As the initiate journeys deeper into the mysteries unlocked by the pineal gland, they come to understand that this inner eye is more than a mere biological organ. It is a sacred portal to multidimensional awareness. The Hand of Thoth, symbolizing divine wisdom and cosmic knowledge, serves as a guide to this expansive inner landscape, encouraging seekers to transcend duality and embrace the unity of all existence. This sacred symbolism reminds us that true knowledge is never static, but a living, breathing force that evolves alongside consciousness itself. Within the Hermetic framework, the pineal gland's awakening is intimately connected to the harmonization of the subtle energy centers, commonly referred to as chakras. Balanced and activated chakras facilitate the free flow of prana, or life force, allowing practitioner to experience heightened states of intuition, creativity, and spiritual insight. The crown chakra, located at the top of the head, works in concert with the pineal, forming a conduit between the earthly and the divine. As these centers come into alignment, the veil between the material and the spiritual thins, granting access to wisdom that transcends conventional understanding. This state of heightened awareness is often described as the activation of the third eye or the seat of the soul. Throughout history, mystics and sages have spoken of this awakening as a rebirth, a profound transformation that dissolves illusions and reveals eternal light within. In practical terms, the awakening process involves a deliberate cultivation of mindfulness, ethical integrity, and devoted practice. Hermetic teachings emphasize that the power of the pineal must be wielded with reverence, as it is capable of revealing both light and shadow within the self. The initiate is urged to confront personal limitations, subconscious fears, and ingrained patterns that no longer serve their highest good. This alchemical process of purification mirrors the ancient practice of transmuting base metals into gold, a metaphor for the transformation of the self into spiritual gold. Sacred geometry plays a pivotal role in this inner work, acting as a blueprint for the cosmos and the architecture of consciousness. Patterns such as the flower of life and the Vesica Piscis resonate with the vibrational frequencies of creation, serving as visual keys to unlock deeper states of meditation and understanding. When meditated upon or visualized, these geometric forms entrain the mind and body into harmonic resonance with universal laws. Through this resonance, the practitioner aligns with the rhythm of the cosmos, facilitating profound healing and awakening. Sound and vibration are equally integral to this journey. Mantras, chants, and sacred tones activate specific neural pathways and energy centers, amplifying the pineal sensitivity and capacity. The Hermetic tradition holds that the universe itself is a symphony of vibrational frequencies, and by tuning into these vibrations, the initiate becomes a co-creator with cosmic forces. Examples from ancient rites and modern scientific research converge on this point, revealing that sound waves can influence cellular regeneration, emotional states, and even DNA expression. As this multidimensional dialogue unfolds within, the initiate begins to embody the qualities of the divine messenger symbolized by Hermes Trismegistus, the union of wisdom, power, and love. This embodiment translates into a life lived with heightened purpose, compassion, and clarity. The mysteries of the pineal gland and its connection to universal consciousness are not esoteric secrets reserved for a select few, but gifts accessible to all who dare to seek. The path is neither easy nor without challenge, yet the rewards are immeasurable. Liberation from limiting beliefs, direct communion with higher realms, and the unfolding of latent potential. In this awakening, one realizes that the external world is but a reflection of the internal cosmos. By transforming one's inner vibration, one alters the very fabric of lived reality. This is the essence of Hermeticism, a living philosophy that teaches mastery over mind, energy, and spirit. It is an invitation to reclaim sovereignty, to dance consciously with the mysteries of existence, and to awaken fully to the divine light shining within. As we reach the close of this journey into the sacred mysteries of the pineal gland, the gateway to higher consciousness, We stand at the threshold of profound transformation. Hermes Trismegistus and the Hand of Thoth have guided us through the intricate dance of energy, vibration, and ancient wisdom, unveiling truths that have been whispered across the ages. The awakening of the pineal gland is more than a physical or metaphysical phenomenon. It is a call to reclaim the innate divinity that resides within every soul. It invites you to step beyond the illusions of separation and duality and to recognize the oneness that binds all creation. This awakening is an act of courage, a commitment to journey inward with humility and resolve. It demands the alchemical courage to transmute shadows into light, ignorance into understanding, and limitation into boundless potential. Hermetic wisdom teaches that the universe responds not only to our thoughts but to the depth of our intention and the purity of our heart. It is through the sacred alignment, mind, body, and spirit, that reality itself begins to reshape in harmony with our highest purpose. You are called to become the conscious co-creator of your life story, tuning your inner instrument with care, intention, and love. Through the practices of meditation, mantra, sacred geometry, and ethical living, you awaken not only the pineal gland but the luminous essence of your being. This path is not for the faint-hearted, but the rewards are infinite. Profound peace, deep insight, and the radiant experience of life as a sacred mystery unfolding in grace. Let this be your invitation to awaken the light within, to embrace the wisdom of the ancients, and to step boldly into a life of spiritual mastery and creative power. The Hand of Thoth still reaches out to the corridors of time, offering you the keys to unlock the deepest chambers of your consciousness. Will you take them? The time to awaken is now.